Next month, a group of business leaders will visit the nation's capital to make our voice heard on issues that affect the Utah business community. Utah's federal delegation and other appointed officials want to understand the opinions of Utah's business leaders, and this trip is your opportunity to weigh in on key issues. Joining us today, Wesley Smith. He is the Director of Public Policy for the Salt Lake Chamber. Wes, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Marty. Thanks for taking time.
Yeah, is this a glorified meet and greet? This trip seems like it could be something like that.
Well, we've done these types of trips in the past with the Salt Lake Chamber, and so those who have been on those trips know exactly what it is, or at least in the same ballpark. We've added a couple things this year, but it's not a meet and greet. It is a serious time to get some business done. And so business community will sit down with our federal delegation, our 2 senators and 3 congressmen, and we'll talk through policy issues that affect various businesses. And this year especially will be interesting. We're focusing on 4 different policy areas: healthcare, energy, downtown issues, and international issues. So those policy tracks are a little bit new. It's a new idea. Instead of just the macro policy issues, we're going to actually look at the macro as well as some of these of the most important business issues.
So give me an idea, aside from meeting the federal delegation, who else the business leaders will be interacting with during their time in D.C.?
Sure. Well, we'll have our senators and our congressmen. We'll meet with them individually. We'll talk through some of the most important issues to the business community and to individual business owners and operators and executives. And then we'll also, I'll give you some, for instance, the international track. We're looking at meeting with some folks in the State Department, in the Pentagon, in the Department of Commerce. Lou Kramer, the President and CEO of World Trade Center Utah, is leading that particular policy track. Lou has he's got a vast D.C. network. He worked out there for many years, was a White House fellow and a senior presidential appointee. So he's working through his channels to put a great international track together. Healthcare, we have Natalie Gochner is working on the healthcare track. She's, as you know, the chief economist here at the Salt Lake Chamber, as well as the vice president, or I believe the vice president of policy for the Levitt Group here in Salt Lake City, and a wealth of knowledge in healthcare, as
and
well
obviously
as
spent some time with Secretary Levitt at the Health and Human Services.
That's right. And so she is putting together the healthcare track, which includes a lot of the biggest issues that we face today in exchanges, in the new healthcare reform bill that came through, legislation that affects pharmaceutical companies and drug companies, and there are just so many different ways that healthcare affects business right now. And Natalie's on point there. We've got the same type of meetings that we're looking for at energy. We're actually we've got scheduled a tour of a nuclear facility there in the Washington D.C. area, and we're looking at meeting with the Department of Energy and other regulatory commissions, as well as think tanks for all of these different policy areas and policy experts. We're also going to be talking about the macro parts of business, the economy, budgets. We're looking at immigration and other hot issues while we're back there.
So it sounds like it's a setup where there's an opportunity for the business leaders to meet the federal delegation, to present some information, but also to gather a lot of good information.
Absolutely. So we'll meet many attending and on this participating in this delegation already know our federal delegation. Those who don't will get to know them better, and that'll be a great part of the trip. And then another wonderful part of this trip is meeting with your peers. And so in these, especially with these policy tracks that we have, we'll have a great healthcare group, great energy group, great downtown group. The downtown group is going to focus on the convention hotel issue, some arts facilities that could be models for downtown Salt Lake, and some other issues like that. But the whole idea of track areas brings your peer group to town with you, and what better time to spend with your peers than a few days out of town together on public transportation, or as you are traveling to and from meetings, doing lunch and dinner and of course breakfast together, and meeting with policy experts. So that'll be a great perk, is getting to know and associate with peers in Utah.
The trip is scheduled for September 12th through the 15th. 15th, and I think there's clearly value to going, but maybe some business leaders are thinking, can I afford to be out of the office that long? We've taken care of that by building in some downtime in the schedule.
We have. That's a great point, and a lot of business leaders care about that, because it'll be the 12th through the 15th, which is 3 full business days basically, including travel, and so you've got 3 days to be out of the office. Well, we know that, and a lot of us have a lot of different DC business to take care of, other than just chamber delegation visits. So we've built in some time each afternoon that business leaders can take care of other DC business, or they can touch in with the local office here and be working on things that affect their business, or they can take the time and do some uniquely DC things. Go to the Holocaust Museum, or visit the White House, or do a Pentagon tour, or we have another evening tour scheduled with Congressman Bishop, and he's going to be our tour guide. So we've got some fun mixed in with the business, and then we've also got some time to take care of office stuff.
Wesley Smith is the Director of Public Policy for the Salt Lake Chamber. Wes, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
The Salt Lake Chamber DC trip is September 12th through the 15th. For more information, go to slchamber.com.